Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got an upload to share with you, and it is going to be a couple of the news covering up encounters, pretty much lying to us for the government. Then I've got two other encounters to share with you. Before we get into today's upload, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that, well, they really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Now, I've taken enough of your time, guys. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Today's first news article that is lying and covering a cryptid encounter, I believe, comes to us from Halifax, Nova Scotia, June 9th, 2020. A Canadian woman was mauled to death by her own dog while taking the animal out for a walk. RCMP states to the news release. A teenage jogger was the first person to find the unidentified woman's body and her dog in a ditch in the rural part of Nova Scotia. The dog comes at me and I'm telling it to back down because I'm not going to hurt him, Anna Borden recalled. Then I see the woman in the ditch, so at this point I'm trying to stay calm for the dog so the dog doesn't attack me. A driver, Joe Parker, saw Borden and pulled over. We both kind of looked at her from the side of the road, and her injuries were rather extensive, and it was apparent that she had passed away, Parker states. Parker and Borden decided to call 911, and Nova Scotia RCMP officers arrived at the scene just after 8 in the morning to find a large dog near the woman's body. The dog ran away from the officers, and the police issued an alert to warn residents. The animal was found dead an hour and a half later after it ran onto the highway and was struck by a vehicle. Police withheld the victim's identity. Okay, the reason why I call BS on this tragic death, and I'm not calling the death BS, I'm calling the dog being blamed for this attack BS, because first and foremost, this dog is a large dog. It just attacked its owner, someone that it knows, loves, and trusts. A jogger comes running up on it. The dog does not attack the jogger. The jogger actually is trying to calm the dog down. Then she notices the body, and that's when she gets fearful. The dog still doesn't attack. Animals can sense fear, and usually they get a little aggravated when that happens. Also, well, the two people now, the passerby and the jogger, are sitting there waiting for the Canadian RCMP, and the dog is not doing anything to the body but staying near it, guarding it. Police come, the dog doesn't attack the police, doesn't go after the girls, doesn't do anything but runs away. Gets struck by a car. I call BS. I don't know. It just doesn't sound, because if this dog was aggressive, it would have attacked the jogger right off. I mean, we've all seen dogs that, want to chase joggers, want to chase people on bikes. This one does not make sense to me. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide. On to the next one. June 2nd, 2015. Horse killed by unknown large animal. Large in quotations. The horse was bitten on the lower part of its leg, apparently causing it to bleed out, Sheriff's Officer Darren Seaman states. The assailant has not been identified. A 1,200-pound adult horse is dead, and the large, in quotation, animal that had bit and killed it has not been identified, causing the Sanilac County Sheriff's Office to issue a warning Monday on Facebook. The horse was fatally wounded at about noon Sunday at its pasture in a rural area about 80 miles northeast of Metro Detroit. The owners were in their home, heard commotion, went outside, and their horse was bleeding badly from the rear hoof. States Sanilac County Animal Control Officer Jim Matson. No other animal was seen. He said midday is kind of an unusual time for predators to strike, and they're not sure what caused the injuries. The sheriff's office posted a message about the incident on its Facebook page on Monday, sparking varied speculation from commenters. Please be vigilant and watch your animals and children, the agency said in the post. But Matson said they have not yet ruled out whether the horse may have injured itself, although a walk in the pasture did not reveal any dangerous obstacles. The horse was bitten on the lower part of the right rear leg, apparently causing it to bleed out. Sheriff's Officer Sergeant Darren Seaman states. He said it couldn't have been a small animal that did the biting, but it could have been a coyote. The incident was on private property near Galbraith Lane and Black River Roads, about 5 miles west of Lake Huron and south of Croswell. Comments on the agency's Facebook post included speculation that the attacker could have been a cougar, a Sasquatch, or even man-bear-pig. So far, the animal responsible remains unidentified, and the agencies have referred the case to a biologist in the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Matson said coyotes are known to be in the area, but rumors of cougars appear unlikely to be true. I've been doing this for 25 years, and there has never been a known cougar in the wild up here to my knowledge, he states. Okay. A couple of things that just pop right out. The large animal in quotations next to a 1,200-pound horse. It would have had to been a really big animal. The comment from the sheriff kind of struck me funny. It wasn't a small animal that did the biting, but it could have been a coyote. Well, we all know that coyotes are not a big animal. I have not seen a coyote heavier than 80 pounds. There may be a 100-pound one out there, but usually they're a lot smaller than that. The ones in New York, up where I live, they're about the size of a medium-sized husky, maybe like a Australian cattle dog. Not big at all. And for a coyote, a very skittish animal in the wild, they are normally very skittish, is not going to just run up to a 1,200-pound horse and bite it in the leg. I call BS on that. Then, of course, at least the people on Facebook had some sort of knowledge. Cougar, well, the game warden kind of dismissed that, but Sasquatch, and then the old ever popular man-pig-bear. Why don't we just call it the Dogman, or as I want to refer to them as, the walking wolves did it. Here's our next one, which is very interesting. Investigators perplexed by death, mutilation of another Oregon cow. Authorities are investigating the mysterious death and mutilation of a cow on a remote ranch at the border between Oregon's Lake and Dutchess County. The range cow, a breeding animal worth about $850, was found dead and mutilated. Her genitals, udder, tongue, and heart gone. Last fall, Bar DR land and cattle, a property in Hampton owned by ranchers Clancy and Stephen Roth. The cause of death was unknown. Lake County Sheriff's Office Deputy Tom Rourke launched an investigation September 18, 2019. The Bureau of Land Management is also on the case. 4 months later, Rourke said he still has no leads. "It's creepy. It gives me chills," rancher Clancy Roth states. "There's no evidence of who did it or how they killed her. It's sad." This isn't the first time the Roths have had their cattle maimed. About 20 years ago, Roth said her father-in-law and husband, Stephen, found multiple cattle mutilations in the same way, with the same body parts removed. And the Roths are not alone. In August 2019, a similar incident involving 5 bulls had occurred on Civis Valley Ranch in eastern Oregon. According to FBI records, thousands of killings and mutilations of cattle have happened across the U.S. since 1970s. The animals typically are found with the same body parts missing. Keon Morehouse, the Roth's ranch hand, found the cow dead when he visited the pasture to fill up the water tanks, as he did every morning. Deputy Rourke said it's hard to discern how the cow died. By the time he arrived on the site, morning after getting a call, which he said was a good hour-and-a-half trip from the sheriff's office, it was past the 24-hour window during which necropsy could have been performed on the body. There were no bullets, no strangulation marks, no recent lightning storms, no rope burns on the trees, no tire tracks, no shoe prints, and no spilled blood. Roth said the lack of blood is what troubles her the most about her cow's death. "The blood was gone," she said. "It looked like someone snipped her artery and drained her." On the ground beside the cow's foot were agitated hoof marks, as though she had struggled in her last moments. Rourke said the missing body parts could not have been taken by scavengers. When a pack of coyotes or birds get to a carcass, not much is left, just bones and hide, unevenly chewed, states Rourke. This was clean cut, like it was done with a blade. If somebody was hungry, they would have whittled up a chunk of back meat and taken it home. This wasn't done for food. This was something sinister. Roth speculates that her cow may have been poisoned. She said after the killing, her husband and his friends found a tiny scrap of fiber resembling a feather tip caught in the nearby sagebrush. She said she believes the fiber was a fletch, part of a poisonous dart. Analysis, however, did not point to a suspect. But why, Roth said she wonders. Who would have done such a thing? The crime site was remote, about 45-minute drive from the nearest paved road and about 100 feet off that dirt road. In cow mutilation cases, theories abundant about who's responsible: aliens, demons, cults, black market organ traders. In the thousands of cases since the 70s, no culprit has ever been caught. Deputy Rourke says he thinks a cult is using body parts for some bizarre medicinal practice. The Roths said they also suspect the cult is involved. "We think this is a satanic thing," Roth says. "They're probably taking the reproductive organs and using or selling them for satanic rituals." She also says she wonders if the practice of cow mutilation is tied to certain times or numbers. The number on the cow's ear tag, Roth said, was double unlucky, 1313. I've seen too many crime scenes, says Rourke, but this one's got no evidence. Nothing. It's truly bizarre. Okay, a lot of you are like, well, Jeff, there's no mention of an animal here. What are you doing? But then the people who do listen to the channel regularly know that I'm obsessed with Skinwalker Ranch. Know that I talk a lot, not a lot, but I do talk about the portals. And the one incident where the farmer, his wife, walked out, they tagged a calf, walked a couple hundred yards or feet, yards, down into the pasture, more straight path, no hills, nothing. Come back, the calf is dead, surgically sliced apart, no blood. Very strange. Could this little ranch in the middle of nowhere in Oregon have a portal? Who knows? I think these things are everywhere. I don't think, a while ago when I was young, I was like the 80s, probably like 10, 11, I watched this movie about cow mutilations and UFOs and stuff like that. Black helicopters flying over the area. That really fascinated me. But they could never explain what was taking these body parts from these cows. I think that there are portals all around the world, other dimensional portals, and whatever is in these portals needs something, like some sort of body part to feed on. Maybe they're like that weird cryptid-like monster that was spotted by the hunter when he saw it come out of the portal that time in Skinwalker Ranch and ran. Maybe they have just these weird ways of consuming these animals. I don't know. But I think they're all tied together. And then, of course, with Skinwalker Ranch is the ginormous dire wolf. There's skinwalkers. There's just all sorts of crazy shit going on there. And it makes no sense. Just like this case. That's why I included it. Not because Dogman attack or Sasquatch attack, but because I think it has something to do with portals and the Skinwalker Ranch. I think they're all connected somehow. We need to find out how. And unfortunately, we probably never will, because the U.S. government will not sell that land or make sure that land gets sold to someone that, my theory, Tony Robbins now owns it. He's looking for something. He's looking for a answer. The government knows this, probably because he's a reptilian, and lets him buy this property. I don't know. Now I'm going way out there. But let's get into an encounter. I grew up in Vandercook Lake, Michigan, and I lived in a small trailer park about 2 miles from 127 highway. 2 miles of pretty heavy woods and swamps. But really nice trails. Anyway, a few friends and I would walk the trails to the sand pits by the highway. We were 10 and 11 years old at the time anyway. An argument happens, and the youngest kid pretty much got told to go home. He stomped off down the trail toward the trailer park and away from the highway. A few minutes later, he comes running back, screaming and crying, running like a bat out of hell. He said there was a monster on the trail and it was following him. We looked down the trail and there was something standing about 50 yards away staring at us. The best I can describe this thing was it looked like Splinter Toy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like a rat standing on its hind legs. But It had what looked like a blue tarp wrapped around it like a hood. It also had a backpack or a bag on it. The face is what I remember because it was stoic looking, long like a dog's snout, and light brown in color with fuzz or thin fur. Intelligent and not malicious looking, but still terrifying. I don't know, I'm 38 now and still remember it very vividly. As I was growing up, till 16, I saw lights and heard weird sounds coming from the woods all the time. Quick, these kids were 50 feet away. If anyone doesn't know what Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is, it's a humanoid rat man that is large. And, well, this creature fits the perfect description of a Dogman. And in Michigan. The tarp thing could have been, maybe it was hiding under a tarp or somewhere and just stood up quick, heard the kid run, and, it just became attached and he dragged it with him. Who knows? We may never, ever know. Today's last encounter. Basically, I live in Westmoreland County of Pennsylvania. For a while, there's been strange occurrences around, but recently was the most real and convincing occurrence that there is a cryptid about. Basically, my girlfriend vacationed at a place where there was known to be Seneca tribes, so I don't know if she brought something back. Anyway, she's over tonight, and I live with another friend. We take our dog out, and our motion lights aren't triggered when all of a sudden there's a hiss right next to us, and the bushes shake, and we rush the dog in as we have no idea what this could be. As this area is prone to raccoon, deer, and coyote, me and my friend go outside with weapons and a flashlight, as we have a dog and he is partially blind and has a bad leg, so we can't risk him being attacked. Along with that, there's a guy in our rather wooded community that has brain issues and tends to wander at night. So with that in mind, we go outside and we hear a bird call. Remind you, it's 1 a.m. We hear this bird call non-stop. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm being lured by a skinwalker or a crazy dude, so we go inside. I look out our patio window only to see a deer at our fence line. The deer's back legs, they look mangled. I kid you not. It actually looks like it's walking with its back legs turned backward. There is a deer that roams back there that has a broken leg, but only one, and he's always with the family. Anyway, we see this deer, but when it first looks at us with the flashlight on it, its eyes are green. It puts its head down and stares at us, and we shine the light around and back on it, and its eyes now are red. When they go back to green, at that point I'm convinced this is a skinwalker. It turns and is walking around. It isn't listening to me screaming to leave, so I call it a Navajo witch. I don't know why, I don't know what, to get its attention, but I kid you not, it turned its head around and stuck its neck up so freakishly long and stared at me. I actually got spooked. I'm a pretty religious dude who often ghost hunts and goes to creepy abandoned spots, but I kid you not, I kinda heart dropped. So at this point, I go and I get my silver cross and shine the flashlight on the cross so it can see the cross shining. And it immediately looks away. And I tell it that if it can't cross the fence line because I don't give it permission, and it knows it can't be the one that's on the cross, and it straight up walked away and didn't look back. I come back inside, my friend goes to sleep, and I go into my bedroom where my girlfriend's now asleep. I lay down next to her, and her eyes are, out in the back of her head. I wake her up, and it turns out she was having a sleep paralysis episode. And she had 2 other sleep paralysis episodes during the entire time me and my friend were outside. I'm wondering if this is some cryptid who has attacked her mind while distracting us, or by coincidence did I happen to have a raccoon hiss at us, someone do a bird call, we see a mangled red-eyed deer, and my girlfriend and all have sleep paralysis, all within a 2-hour period. I'm asking this as I'm pretty knowledgeable of demons and stuff, but I don't think you ward off 2 things the same way, so I'm looking for some help. Edit, update. The deer essentially looked like it had the posture of a crab, and it did not have a thick thigh in the back like a deer. It has legs that looked backwards and mangled. I know it all could have been coincidence, it just seems a little weird. I am also aware skinwalkers are Navajo exclusive, or whatever, but I don't know what else to call this thing. Well, my guess is you just saw a deer man. There's been numerous deer man accounts in Canada. Probably all over the United States. I mean, we really don't know, because so many people do not report their cryptid encounters out of fear of ridicule. I don't really know. What I do know is that it is definitely a very strange encounter. Could be coincidental that your girlfriend had sleep paralysis at the time. Not really sure what the Indian or Native American culture in PA is. I'm assuming every tribe has some sort of shapeshifter legend. But yeah, that one's a really strange one. I really like doing the news cover-up ones, just because these things are in the newspaper or online, and it just, I don't know, if I can read it and make no sense of it, and then you guys hearing it can make no sense of it, why does the public fall for this? I mean, the public cannot be that naive. It just makes no sense. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great day today, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload. And with that, I'm going to bid you farewell.